The film opens with an empty house that already holds a dark presence inside. When a family comes to view the property, the entity stirs. A woman named Rebecca visits the house with her family and immediately falls in love with it. Though it stretches her budget, she decides to buy it, primarily because it's close to her son's school in Tallinn. Her son is a professional swimmer, and Rebecca is determined to see him compete at the national level. She won't let anything disrupt his training. However, Rebecca's husband disagrees with the decision. He worries their daughter, Khloe, isn't ready for such a big move. Since the recent death of her friend, Khloe has barely left the house. But Rebecca dismisses her daughter's struggles entirely. As Rebecca and her husband argue in the house, the entity listens closely. Sensing Rebecca's buried trauma, it fixates on her. Later, Rebecca pauses in front of an antique mirror, one the homeowner claims is over a century old. Khloe goes to her room to visit the house, where she feels that someone is watching her from the cupboard. The scene cuts and we see that the painting work has started in this house. A lot of laborers who work here have run away because they feel that someone is present in the building. There is the presence of some entity. A few days later, it is shown that Rebecca's family has moved into this house. Rebecca is talking to someone on the phone, and we find out that she fraudulently took money from her own company to pay for this house. She doesn't even feel sad about it because she believes it's okay to do anything for her loved ones. Here we are shown Khloe, who has no one. She cries alone and falls asleep while crying. As soon as she wakes up, she realizes that someone is close to her. She immediately gets up from the bed and goes toward the cupboard. "Is that you, Nadia?" she asks. She thinks it's her friend's soul who has come to live with her. But the entity doesn't say anything. The next day, it is shown that Khloe has spread books all over the bed while walking around. Then Khloe gets up and goes to take a bath. From behind, the spirit enters her room and sees a picture of Khloe and her friend Nadia. After that, it puts all the scattered things back in place. When Khloe comes out, she screams in fear. How did all this happen? Then she realizes it must be Nadia helping her. Now she has stopped being afraid of this spirit. Hearing her scream, her dad comes to the room and asks what happened. Khloe lies and says she saw a rat. She doesn't want to tell him that her friend's soul is here. Now Khloe's dad goes downstairs and discusses Khloe's condition with Rebecca. He says, Khloe is not well. Her friend was killed by a drug overdose, and another girl has been murdered in the city the same way. We should take care of Khloe. But Rebecca, who doesn't seem to care about her daughter, tells her husband, I think you're thinking too much. Meanwhile, their son Tyler comes home with his friend Ryan. He introduces Ryan to his family and Khloe. Ryan likes Khloe at first sight. But Tyler warns him, don't even think about being friends with my sister. That night, Rebecca and her husband argue about Khloe again. Khloe's dad insists she needs to see a therapist. But Rebecca snaps, she just needs time. Her husband loses his temper. Don't forget, Khloe is your daughter too, not just Tyler. The next day, when Khloe is home alone, Ryan comes over looking for Tyler. Khloe offers him a drink and invites him to her room. Ryan hesitates. Tyler told me not to go in there. But then he enters anyway. Inside they take drugs together. Khloe opens up, after my friend died, I've never felt so alone. Ryan, curious, asks, I've never lost someone close. What does it feel like when someone dies? Khloe needed someone to share her grief with. As she opened up to Ryan, they grew very close. Ryan also shared his pain, how no one in his family cared about him, not even his toxic mother. Their moment was interrupted when the entity, displeased by their closeness, violently shook the cupboard. The loud crash scared them apart. Ryan dismissed it as loose cabinet hinges, but Khloe knew better. When she approached the cupboard, a sudden icy breeze hit her face. She immediately understood. This was Nadia warning her to stay away from Ryan. That evening at dinner, Khloe finally confronted her family. Haven't you felt it? There's something else in this house, a presence we can't see. Tyler scoffed, you've gone mad since your friend died. What nonsense are you saying? Khloe burst into tears as her father scolded her. Tyler stormed out, followed by their mother. Later, at their father's urging, Tyler tried apologizing. But an angry Khloe screamed at him and slammed her door. When Tyler complained to their dad again, he explained, Khloe's traumatized, she needs your support. Tyler just shrugged, indifferent to his sister's pain. Tyler was proudly telling his mom about his bad deeds, boasting about how he pranked a girl and leaked her private photos. His mom, instead of scolding him, said nothing. But the presence in the house, the spirit, couldn't stand hearing this. As punishment, she went to Tyler's room and started destroying everything. His winning medals, mugs, everything was thrown down. First, Khloe came running after hearing the noise, then the rest of the family. When they saw the destruction, they were shocked and terrified. Everyone rushed out of the house in fear, including Khloe. Outside, Khloe tried to explain, "It's not anyone bad, it's my friend Nadia. She's come to stay with me. Don't be afraid of her." But Tyler and his mom refused to go back inside. Though they now believed Khloe, that there really was a spirit in the house, they still wouldn't enter. In the end, only Khloe and her dad went back inside, convincing the others to follow. After returning home, Rebecca's husband calls the woman who sold them the house. He demands, "If there was an entity here, why did you sell us this house?" The woman replies, "There was no entity here before. But if you believe there's one now, I'll send my sister-in-law. She's a psychic who helps people with such problems." Rebecca's husband agrees. The next afternoon, the psychic arrives. The moment she enters, a cold breeze brushes her face, confirming the house is truly haunted. After observing subtle signs, she announces, "There is a presence here, one that's suffering like Khloe." Just as Khloe grieves her friend's death, this entity is also in distress. The family is shocked. They never mention Khloe's trauma to her. The psychic continues, "Only Khloe can sense this presence. Her pain has made her sensitive, opening a door to the fourth dimension. Through it, spirits can communicate with her in ways ordinary people can't perceive." She adds quietly, "When I endured similar pain long ago, that door opened for me too." Khloe asks the psychic, "Is this my friend Nadia?" The psychic replies, "No. I don't know who she is, and neither does this soul. She's trapped in this dimension with no way out. Time behaves strangely in the fourth dimension," the psychic explains. "Past and future collapse together. Souls often get lost and wander into other timelines." Noticing the ancient mirror in the corner, the psychic touches it. Old mirrors often bridge our world and the spirit realm. She writes on the glass, attempting to communicate, when suddenly, a blue light flashes through the house. A violent shock knocks her down, leaving her too weak to continue. She leaves soon after. Weeks pass. The presence stops disturbing the family. It doesn't interfere when Khloe grows closer to Ryan, instead it hides in the closet. One day while Khloe showers, the entity sees Ryan spiking her juice with drugs. To protect Khloe, it shakes the table, spilling the glass. Khloe returns to find the mess, unaware of what almost happened. She simply cleans up and moves on. Khloe didn't even feel that presence anymore because she could only sense it when she was highly sensitive and emotional. But after becoming friends with Ryan, Khloe's mental health improved significantly. As a result, the door to the fourth dimension that had opened for her began to close. Now she could no longer feel the entity. Here, Khloe tells Ryan, "Mom and Dad won't be home on Friday. You should come." Ryan agrees, even though they both know Tyler will be home that day. Meanwhile, the psychic meets with Rebecca's husband. She explains, "The entity in this house isn't connected to the past but to the future. It's here to prevent something that will happen, something related to the window." But Rebecca's husband doesn't understand her meaning. Since Rebecca has now forbidden the psychic from entering their home, he tells her to leave. At night, it's shown that the entity is struggling with something urgent it needs to tell Khloe. It tries to communicate, attempting to wake Khloe to touch her. But some invisible barrier prevents contact. Because Khloe has recovered from her mental trauma, the spirit can neither make its presence felt nor speak to her. Finally, Friday arrives and Ryan comes to Tyler's house. He meets Tyler first, then immediately goes to the kitchen. He prepares 2 glasses of juice and mixes drugs into both. He gives 1 glass to Tyler, who falls asleep within minutes after drinking it. Ryan then takes the second glass and goes to Khloe's room. This time, Khloe senses something wrong. Fearfully, she asks, "Where is Tyler?" Ryan replies, "Don't worry, I put him to sleep." Hearing this, Khloe realizes Ryan must have drugged Tyler. Horrified, she demands, "Leave the room right now." Today, she doesn't even want to be near Ryan. But Ryan tries to calm her down and forces the drug juice toward her. The entity watches helplessly. It doesn't want Khloe to drink it, but since it can't physically interact with humans, it can't stop her this time. Khloe drinks the juice. Within moments, she loses consciousness. Then we see Ryan's true nature revealed. He was a cold-blooded killer who enjoyed murdering girls. This time, he takes cling wrap and presses it over Khloe's mouth, slowly suffocating her. Each time she nears death, he removes it. He relished watching girls suffer in agony. Here, the truth comes out. Ryan had also killed Khloe's friend and another girl. He was a psychopath. He repeated the suffocation with the cling wrap, ensuring no one would suspect murder. Everyone would think Khloe died from a drug overdose. The entity desperately tries to save Khloe but can't break through the barrier preventing direct intervention. In desperation, it attempts to wake Tyler instead, yet it can't touch him either. It resorts to knocking objects over near Tyler, but he remains unconscious from the drugs. The entity then lets out an ear-piercing scream directly into Tyler's ear. Jolted awake in terror, Tyler immediately remembers, Ryan was here, and not with me. He must be hurting my sister. Without wasting a second, he races upstairs. There, he sees Ryan trying to kill his sister. Tyler charges at Ryan, tackling him through the window. They both fall to their deaths. In the next scene, the family prepares to leave the house, now haunted by the loss of their son. Rebecca suffers the most. She had bought this house for Tyler, her beloved child. His death shatters her completely. In her grief, something unexpected happens. Rebecca begins sensing the entity's presence. For the first time, she feels it strongly. Drawn to the 100-year-old mirror, she finally sees the spirit clearly and realizes it's Tyler. His soul had traveled back in time to save Khloe. Overwhelmed, Rebecca screams and cries, telling her husband and Khloe, "The entity was your brother. Tyler came back to protect you." As they weep together, the entity, Tyler's spirit, steps out of the house. His purpose fulfilled, he ascends peacefully. The story ends here. Thanks for watching.